the heart of the capital, Connaught Place, where you have all the commercial branches. Let me show you. This is ICICI Bank. We are standing right next to it. You have Punjab National Bank there. You also have the post office there. And people around me. It's not a Bollywood film shooting. I'm not that famous, but they are standing in queue to get out their money from the ATMs to exchange their notes, which they have earned really hard from the post office. Joining me in this broadcast also is my colleagues from across the nation. So we're getting you update on first up this morning from Kolkata. Indrajit joining us, Sahil joining us from Mumbai. In Delhi, with me at the New Friends Colony is Ankit. Shalini Lobo, my colleague, is at Sarojini Nagar Sabzi Mandi, where even if you get money from here, you have to go to your grocers and vegetable vendor who are not accepting 2,000 rupee notes. That's the big challenge. So we are breaking down the challenges this morning after the big bold move of the government that was announced about 7 days back. There have been some tweaking as well. So before we go across to each of our reporters and get their point of views and get reactions from the ground, speak to people out here, it's a 2-hour special. So be with us. First, we take a look at how the government has ensured that it is the situation which is eased through the days. So from withdrawal limit, which has been high to 2,500 rupees, the exchange of notes at 4,500, is it enough or more needs to be done? We talk all about that. First, have a look at how bank norms have been eased as they reopen today to ensure that inconvenience is minimized for the Aam Aadmi.
Amid the cash crisis, the government announced a series of measures which it said would help people access money. The measures were decided at a meeting chaired by the Prime Minister late Sunday night. Cash exchange limits at banks has been increased from 4,000 to 4,500 rupees. Weekly withdrawal limit from bank accounts was raised to 24,000 from rupees 20,000. ATMs may today be able to give out 2,000 rupee notes, as reconfiguration has been taking place at a hectic pace. Economic Affairs Secretary Shaktikant Das said a special task force has been set up under the chairmanship of RBI Deputy Governor for recalibration of ATMs.
Recalibration of the ATMs has already started, and it is expected that from today or tomorrow the ATMs will start dispensing higher denomination currency.
And to relieve the pressure, the government said all utility services will accept old 500 and 1000 currency till 24th of November. The government's priority focus is that money reaches to the rural areas. For that, the cash holding limit for banking correspondents has been increased.
Banking correspondents typically have strong rural presence, so the decision was mainly to activate it as much as possible so that the reach of this system in the rural areas becomes even stronger.
With the government setting its sight on strengthening the network of banks, post office and ATMs, hopes are that the situation may soon be back to normal. Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, so let's first go across to Ankit and Shalini, who are standing at two different spots in the capital. Ankit, first to you. What's the situation today morning? From where I am, there are serpentine queues, people waiting at the doorstep of the banks from 6 a.m. in the morning.
You know, on one side is Prime Minister Modi, who has come up with this scheme where he says the black money now is going to be eradicated. On the other is the opposition, and in between are these people. There is no end to the serpentine lines all across the national capital. Yesterday the banks were closed. I am in New Friends Colony, and this is the HDFC Bank where I'm standing right now, and my camera person Dinesh will just pan and show you the kind of queue that is here. Since early morning, people have been queuing up here, and this is as far as I can see, there are only people. This queue that is now doubling up right up to the main doorstep of the bank. It is yet to open. It's not open. The shutters are down. The bank is yet to open. There is one ATM. The only good thing is that now the finance minister asked the banks to do so. There is a separate line for women and elderly, but massive queue. Let me just go across and get a word from a few people about what they feel about this entire move. कब से लगे हुए हैं सर आप लाइन में?
मैं सुबह 6 बजे से
6 बजे से आए हुए हैं। 6 बजे से आप आए हुए हैं और अभी तक आपके आगे कम से कम 50 लोग और लगे हुए हैं।
हाँ।
जो पूरा हुआ, इस तरह से आपको पैसा रोज रोज निकालना पड़ रहा है, क्या
पहली दफा आया हूँ।
पहली दफा है?
हाँ।
अब तक कैसे काम चल रहा है?
एक ही बार
थोड़ा बहुत था।
आप सर
एक ही बार दे रहे हैं पैसे। जैसे जिस तरीके से परेशानी हो रही है, सभी लोगों को बहुत दिक्कत है इस चीज।
तो ये जो मूव है मोदी जी का, कहना है कि परेशानी कुछ दिन झेल लीजिए देश के लिए, तो आपको लगता है कि ठीक है या थोड़ा और अच्छे तरीके से करें?
ये तरीका पहले ही उन्हें चाहिए था कि इस चीज को जो है नहीं पहले ही वो करना चाहिए था कि बैंकों में पहले ही पैसा पहुंचाना चाहिए था। जिस तरीके से पब्लिक परेशान है, बहुत ज्यादा दिक्कतें हो रही है।
खर्चे कैसे चल रहे हैं सर घर के?
खर्चे तो 200 में बंधक लगा के हम खर्चे देते हैं।
मतलब 1000 का
800 में दुकान पे बंधक लगा करके हम यहाँ लाइन में 2 दिन खड़े हुए, अभी तक पैसे नहीं मिला। इससे अगले बार हमको सिर्फ मिला था 2000 रुपया। इससे कोटक ऑफ महिंद्रा है ना, इससे हमको 2000 सिर्फ मिला, जहाँ 4000 की हम फार्म भरी थी। वहाँ पे
पैसा पूरा नहीं दे रहे?
नहीं, यहाँ पे लाइन में खड़े होकर रह गए। ये क्या बोलता है, बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा में लाइन में खड़े होकर रह गए।
There are few banks here, and that is why there are a lot of people, those who are coming. There are a lot of people, those who are standing in the queue waiting for this to open up.
Okay.
Let me just go a few steps, if I may, and ask the ladies here, those who have been standing for a very long time, how they are going through with their day. आप मैम पहली बार आई हैं यहाँ पैसा निकालने?
हाँ जी, पहली बार आई हूँ।
कितने खर्चा कैसे चल रहा है अभी तक आपका?
ऐसे चल रहा है खर्चा हमारे।
घर में थे इतने छुट्टे पैसे, इतने 100 के?
हाँ, 100 के थे थोड़े बहुत।
तो अब क्या लगता है आपको, ठीक करा सरकार ने जो कर रही है सरकार?
अच्छा ही करा सरकार ने।
अच्छा ही करा। That's the bottom line. This kid is also here. He'll also get an experience of this demonetization policy that the government has introduced. More or less, people are talking about the implementation. This could have been implemented better is something that a lot of people are saying, but more or less seems to be some sort of a support for this policy. Whether the opposition has got their act right by attacking the government, or we will, what will happen to immediate effect would be seen in the elections in the upcoming states. But one thing is for sure, cash crunch is there. And there needs to be much more.
So Ankit, is it a big political risk also? Is it a big political risk also? Is it a big political risk also that the government has taken at this point of time? Because you have the UP polls around the corner, you have Punjab polls around the corner, and a much political war of words has erupted, with many political parties alleging that money has been stashed away by the BJP for the upcoming polls, and we are facing a cash crunch now. That is all up next on First Up, but let's take a look at how other cities are faring. Now that I'm standing in queue, I can tell you a lot of people are filling forms here as well. Banks have opened early in the morning, but this seems to be the norm for many who are going to office for the past 2 days as well. Now, yesterday banks were closed, but after the announcement was made, Thursday, Friday, we have seen office goers going late, many standing in lines at odd hours to ensure they have that minimum cash with them. So let me go across now to my colleague Rohini, also is joining us from Bengaluru, and Pramod, who is joining us from Chennai. So first up to you, Rohini, IT city of India, the IT capital of India. It's called the Silicon Valley. It's also one of the centers where e-commerce industry is booming. Are people going cashless with their plastic money, or do you see similar scenario with more and more people outside the ATMs?
Well, people in Bangalore are taking to technology because yes, a lot of people are indulging in cashless transactions. We've also seen that in terms of the lines we're seeing in the other parts of the country, similar lines are not seen here because people are staggering, especially when it comes to withdrawal of money. They're also taking, they're calling up their offices and seeking timings of an hour or so where they can actually take out some time and withdraw money. Let me also tell you before I start speaking to people here is the fact that there are two things. One is the Karnataka Home Minister has decided to visit certain ATMs in particular constituencies to see how people are suffering. He's also going to some hospitals to see whether the transactions are possible with the small denominations after the demonetization that has taken place. Apart from that, the Karnataka Chief Minister also has written to the Finance Minister, Mr. Jaitley, saying that Karnataka is facing a huge crunch. Yesterday, he did visit some districts and found that especially in the rural areas, people are unable to use the money because 500 and 1000 is largely what they have. Let me also speak to some people here at this point of time. You're standing here very early in the morning before going to work, is it? How difficult is it? How many hours do you end up standing in the line, or how difficult is it for you to get money?
I just came right now.
Okay.
I just dropped my kid.
Yeah.
And I don't have any cash. And today I need because I am going to hospital, not a government but a private one. Although they have a card and I have a card, but there are many things which card don't purchase.
Okay.
So for that I'm here.
And you have a cap of around 2,000, 2,500 a day. Does that make it difficult for you?
Like I have so many cards, so people like me don't face any issue, but there are so many different people who don't have cards. Even though I have Sodexos also, but I know many people who don't have any card or any other means, and they have old notes. That's it.
So do you think that people, especially in Bangalore, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಜನ ATMs ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರಾ ಈಗ?
ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ATMಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇದಿಲ್ವಲ್ಲ.
See, they are using, a lot of people are using their cards, but there's no money. If I can ask you also, what is the bigger problem now? Because apart from the fact everybody understands there's no money, personally, how do you feel the crunch?
I think I have not faced much of problem as of now because most of the place I use my card itself. I've been using my card for most of the time. So I think the ones who are predominantly into cash transactions, I think they're facing a lot of problem because of the ATMs. Now I have my office is 11 o'clock actually. I usually leave my house at 10:45. So since I need to deposit or draw money, I've come in at 9 o'clock. So yeah, that's one of the problems.
Another thing about, especially when we have been told that there are separate lines for senior citizens, there are separate lines for people who are physically challenged, those kind of implementation we are not seeing on the ground. I am joined by some students here. How you're a student and you all also have a cap that comes especially, and you all have also travelled from other places and you all are staying here. How are you managing?
Yeah, so I'm an outstation student here. I don't have much of cash. I'm running out of cash and I have to manage my daily expenses also. So yesterday I went from ATMs to ATMs, banks to banks, and I didn't got any cash because there was so much of queue there. I have to miss my college, I have to miss my classes and come here early morning and stand in the lines and wait for cash to come. It's really hard and it's very concerning right now.
That's another problem, especially when you're giving the younger generation, because a lot of especially what she's talking about, how they have daily expenses, because most of the auto rickshaws, buses, they do not obviously take cards, so they are finding it difficult when it comes to commutation from one place to another.
Madam?
All right, Rohini, thanks for that update. But we must tell people that senior citizens queue has to be separate, and it's the incumbent on also the bank officials to ensure that. Let me tell you, I'm at the heart of capital, which is Connaught Place once again, and people have now started sitting down because the wait is just getting longer for them to go to the bank's doorstep. Yesterday, many of them, when I was talking to them, have said they've had experiences when just the time they reach the ATM doorstep or even the post office or the bank's doorstep on Sunday and Saturday, cash runs out, and that's because although it's a big bold move, but the implementation, the assessment, impact assessment, and also the fact that only 2 lakh ATMs are around the country, you have about 14 lakh crore notes that are being dispensed by these 2 lakh ATMs that need to be replaced, with only 8,000 vans and 40,000 people behind it. So it's becoming a logistical nightmare. Let me go across to my colleague Indrajit from Kolkata. Indrajit, yesterday there was a news that came out of how there has been a cash seize of 2.5 crore worth, which was the notes of old 500 and 1,000 rupee notes that were bundled in a truck and were moving away. The IT department is having a close scrutiny into any illegal transaction that could be happening at this moment. Big amounts of money that are coming out, tax evaders that have hoarded money and have no way to escape at the moment. But this also speaks about the alarming situation. What does a common man who has about 2 lakh rupee cash do?
Well, that's right. You know, it's not just people who are working in the back end to make these 2 lakh ATMs functional who are spending sleepless nights, but also, you know, the income tax officials, because this is the time when they have to be really active in order to be able to bring all those defaulters into net. Now, as far as the reality on the 7th day of this note ban is concerned, I am coming to you live from the Bhawanipur constituency, which is Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee's constituency. In fact, this is the area where she made an impromptu move and came out and met several of the people who were standing outside the banks just 2 days back. And look at the situation out here. The bank is supposed to open at 10 a.m. in the morning, and people have already lined up in queue. They're in fact sitting here at the staircase right outside the bank. Let's just talk to them. Sir, ये बताइए, सुबह से बैठ के यहाँ पे अखबार पढ़ रहे हैं, वेट कर रहे हैं, कितने देर से यहाँ पे वेट कर रहे हैं आप?
8:30.
8:30. So, what do you think? You know, do you think that this is causing a lot of inconvenience? Do you, you know, you've come here so early in the morning?
দেখুন এইসব ব্যাপারে কিছু কষ্ট তো হচ্ছেই, সবারই কষ্ট হবে।
आप बताइए, आप भी सुबह से आके यहाँ पे वेट कर रहे हैं?
9 बजे से हमारे हैं।
हाँ।
क्या हम बोले फर्स्ट आ जाएगा तो फर्स्ट नंबर लग जाएगा ना, इसीलिए नंबर लगाया,
इसलिए पहले आके लाइन में खड़े हो
क्या
गए। तो so this is the situation. Many people are coming here way ahead of the time before the bank opens so that they can keep ahead in the queue, because that's very important. And see, slowly the queues are taking shape. But if I can give you a sense of this entire area, we can't see any specific you know, lines for veterans and women. There's one single line that everybody is making. But one interesting factor, if I can show through my camera person, is that right outside this bank there has been a huge you know, water tank that has now been put in place by the Kolkata Municipal Corporation. Here it is, a water tank that has been put up here by the Kolkata Municipal Corporation, so that, you know, at least people who are queuing up here throughout the day, they have some support. So that's after the instruction by the Trinamool run Kolkata Municipal Corporation, and the Chief Minister insisted that there should be something in place in order to make things easier for people waiting outside in the queue.
Okay, all right. But no sight of the micro ATMs. No sight of the micro ATMs at the various spots that we've done a spot check on. At the moment, we have to slip into a short break. But remember, if you're depositing money in the bank, there is no limit that what you can deposit. Up till 2.5 lakh, no scrutiny from the income tax department. Above that, you might attract some questions from the income tax department. But at the moment, as there are people standing in queue to take out their money from the ATM, I slip into a short break, speak to them as well, and come back with my colleague Sahil, who's joining us from Mumbai. Pramod, Rohini continue to be with us, and Shalini, getting you around update, a 360-degree coverage from across the nation on the cash chaos that we see. Welcome back. As it's day 7 after the Prime Minister's announcement, we are at Connaught Place getting you a ground update of how the situation looks after the Big Bang move. Now, many are saying that the implementation is an issue. Logistical nightmare was not assessed properly. The opposition has also questioned the government, but here are the woes of Aam Aadmi that we are getting you. With me right now are Sahil from Mumbai, Shalini from Delhi. Also joining us is Pramod from Chennai, and Rohini from Bengaluru, and Indrajit from Kolkata, getting you all corners of the nation and updates out here. But have you ever wondered what goes behind these ATM machines? As you're standing in the queue, there is about 40,000 strong workforce that is ensuring that your ATMs are refilled as soon as possible. Now, they're working at triple their capacity. Usually, it's 25,000 ATMs that one cash van can fill, and now it's tripling up to 72,000 for the moment. Take a look at this special report, coming back to you with ground updates.
Prime Minister Modi's announcement to scrap the 500 and 1000 rupee notes has left the country in confusion. With long queues at ATMs and banks, we have heard the stories of bereaved customers and people who have hailed the Prime Minister's masterstroke move to attack the black money hoarders. However, there are people who have been working relentlessly since past 4 days to help accommodate such a drastic change.
What we are doing at this point in time is grappling with a scenario where the number of people who want to take money from each ATM has gone up from an average of 125 transactions per ATM per day into many-fold. It's hard to estimate whether 10 times the number of people are coming to the ATM or even more.
We were not allowed to show the cash distribution process in its entirety due to security reasons, but we did manage to get a glimpse.
Here the vault officer takes the cash in and puts it through a cash officer. Now after doing this entire process, they reach here. Here is the table, the cash table with the seal, and put it, and remember, this is where it is already verified. Now after that, they immediately go to this, and the small cabinets, what you see on your screen, are of different banks. So they fill it, and it is verified and kept here. We have reached one of the cash logistics agency, and they are working relentlessly for the past 2-3 days, and here what you see on your screen, they're trying to load 100 rupees notes which are to be taken to the ATMs, different bank ATMs. They have additionally added 300 to 400 staffs who are working and filling them. What you see now are these cash trunks which are ready to go to different bank ATMs, and they are loaded to go to different ATMs. They are sealed, they are checked by the cash officer, and they are verified and are loaded safely inside these cash vans who are in queue to take money to different locations of Delhi NCR.
Despite such Herculean efforts by these bank service providers, there is still dearth of notes in the ATM machines.
Because the new currencies and the denominations and the size varies from the previous ones, magnet, and also the configuration, and the officials say it will take around 10 to 15 days to change the entire setup. Now the big question here is they need 15 days to change the entire setup. Will that be given, and how soon will that be resolved? With camera person Rajiv, this is Parveena, Delhi, India Today.
Okay, so we just had a look at how these ATMs are refilled, but even if you manage to reach to the ATM, you can now withdraw only 2,500 rupees per day in hard cash. But where do you use it? The vegetable vendors are refusing to take the 2,000 rupee notes as well. You have grocers who are refusing to take it. If there's a medical exigency, God forbid on that, only government hospitals at the moment are accepting old notes and cash. For any medical emergency, you need new notes, and even if you want to go and eat a simple meal outside, a restaurant which does not have a swipe machine with it, well, it's becoming a task of the day. Let me also go across to my colleague Sahil from Mumbai, who has an interesting story. Now, Sahil, yesterday we saw the notification that's been released from the GMR group, which says that the airports that come under it, they will not be charging any parking fee because there is lack of change.
Absolutely. In fact, Devina, you have rightly pointed out that the note which the people are getting, that is 2,000 rupees note, is actually useless because they cannot use it. If they want to use it to the shopkeeper, to the toll plaza, or at the parking place, they will not be able to get the change out of that, and because of that, that note is not going to be used. So what note they can use is 100 rupees note or the 500 rupees note. And I mean, I actually do not have to say anything. These lines are saying enough, whatever I want to say. And you can see there are 3-4 banks here, and right now what people are waiting for is to that the bank should open. I mean, bank should be opening by 9:30, but these lines I'm seeing since morning, that is around 7 o'clock in the morning. The ATM center is also there, which is still not yet open because the cash van comes at around 11:30, and after that the ATM center will open. Now here are some questions we would like to ask the people here. Before I go to the people, I would also like to tell one more thing that because it looks like that the government machinery, not only the banks, but also the government machinery was not ready to accept this particular challenge. They were taken up by surprise, and that is the reason why they are still evolving every day. Because yesterday, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra announced 3-4 things. One thing he announced is that till 24th of November, at the toll plazas, the old notes will be acceptable. 1. 2, he also said that even the utilities will be taking up bills in the old currency. And what is happening because of that, the utility collection is increasing in the municipalities. The property tax, the water tax, and the house tax, etc., is increasing in last 5-6 days. Also, he has said that he has asked the colleges and the institution, the educational institution, to accept checks. But it's not enough because it's really creating a problem. Now we'll have to go and ask some people here because Arun Jaitley made a statement that it's little bit of inconvenience. That the Prime Minister made a statement that Garib Chain ki neend so raha hai. So we will have to ask some people whether they're having chain ki neend or not. आपको चैन की नींद मिल रही है? आपको लगता है कि जिस तरीके से कहा गया, आपको चैन की नींद मिल पा रहे हैं आप?
Sahil, I can tell you.
जो काम हो रहा है जैसा होना चाहिए वैसा तो नहीं हो रहा है ना, सबसे बड़ा चीज़ है। क्योंकि 2000 रुपया का जो नोट मिल रहा है, मार्केट में ले जाने से, किसी को देने से वो चेंज नहीं दे रहा है।
सीधा बोलता है कि 2000 रुपए का ही खरीद करो, हमारे पास चेंज नहीं है। सीधा बोलता है कि 2000 का।
चलिए 8 दिन हो चुके हैं, अभी 8 तारीख हुआ है, कुछ फायदा हुआ? आपको लगता है कुछ सॉर्ट आउट हो रहा है चीज?
कुछ तो सॉर्ट आउट हो रहा है, लेकिन उम्मीद है कि एक हफ्ता में बहुत जल्दी सॉर्ट आउट हो जाएगा।
परेशानी हो रही है, बिल्कुल कुछ भी तकलीफ कम नहीं हो रही है और बहुत ज्यादा तकलीफ हो रही है। 2000 रुपए का नोट दे रहे हैं, वो कहीं छुट्टा नहीं दे रहे हैं, कुछ भी छुट्टा नहीं दे रहे हैं। 2000 रुपए 100 पीस बन के हो गया। पॉकेट का एक मतलब पॉकेट में रखने के लिए एक स्टेटस बन गया है। 2000 रुपए का नोट है मेरे पास।
500 का नोट देखा आपने?
500 का नोट अभी देखने को नहीं मिल रहा है।
500 का नोट नहीं देखे हैं। और कल हमने 7 बजे आया और 11 बजे तक लाइन में खड़े थे, पैसा खत्म हो गया, नहीं मिला।
Okay, all right. Well, Sahil, we'll come back to you. Just fixing a technical glitch there. But let me tell you, when the Prime Minister said Garib Chain ki neend so raha hai, that is true. But wo jaldi ut raha hai because you have people standing in the line here since 6 a.m. and that's not only Mumbai and Delhi but across different cities as well. Now let me go to Shalini, who's standing at Sarojini Nagar Market at the moment. Now Shalini, first step, of course, the first struggle is to get the cash out of your bank, your hard-earned money out of the bank, and once you've done that, the next step is to use it, because if you're not at the ATM, which was still yesterday dispensing 100 rupee notes, 1000 rupee notes and 2000 rupee notes and 500 rupee notes were introduced later and only in some ATMs. If you have a larger denomination, a higher denomination of 2000 rupee notes is not being accepted by various vegetable vendors, even your neighborhood grocery store, because change is not available, and that's the next big challenge for many, including housewives.
Davina, right now I'm at the Sarojini Nagar Sabzi Mandi, and it's a sorry plight this morning. Now the Mandi usually opens at 6. Today I came in at around 8:39 and they were still setting up. Now you can see everything is closed here, everything's still packed. Nothing opened yet. The traders are telling us, the vegetable vendors are telling us that sales have dropped here. They are witnessing a drop in sales of at least 50%. Talking to people over here, you see these vendors here all working here. Sir, आप please बताइए, सर आप please बताइए आपके सेल कितना गिर चुके हैं या क्या प्रॉब्लम है आप?
नहीं जी, प्रॉब्लम तो है, बस थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं। 8-10 दिन की प्रॉब्लम है, हो जाएगा सॉल्व। कोई नहीं, हम मोदी जी के फैसले से खुश हैं, कोई दिक्कत वाली बात नहीं है।
This is what they have to say. They are happy with the Prime Minister's decision. In 8 days probably the problems will be solved. आज तो एक हफ्ता हो गया, पिछले ट्यूसडे को था जब प्राइम मिनिस्टर ये अनाउंस किया। क्या लोग 2000 के नोट लेकर आ रहे हैं 2000 के, और आप चेंज दे सकते हैं? आप
जी जी बिल्कुल चेंज भी दे रहे हैं और काम भी हो रहा है। पहले से काम धीरे धीरे थोड़ा बढ़ने लगा है, कोई दिक्कत वाली बात नहीं, काम हो रहा है, थोड़े से पहले से बेटर हो गया है। पहले नहीं हो रहा था बिल्कुल भी, 2-3 दिन बिल्कुल काम नहीं रहा, अब काम
होने लगा है और काम कस्टमर भी आ रहे हैं, खुले भी दे रहे हैं, 1000 के 500 के नोट भी दे, 2000 का नोट भी दे रहे हैं ग्राहक।
क्या आप 1000 और 500 का नोट ले रहे हैं अब?
जी नहीं, बिल्कुल भी नहीं ले रहे हैं, नहीं 1000-500 के नहीं, 100 के ले रहे हैं और 2000 का नोट आया है जो वो ले रहे हैं।
His business has increased over what it was before when the announcement was just made. There were hardly any people seen in the market, and I must say today standing here even I don't see many people here in the vegetable market. क्या आप ATM गया, बैंक गया अपने पैसे डालने या विड्रॉ करने?
जी जी बिल्कुल जाते हैं और लेके भी आते हैं।
कितना देर आपको ATM में खड़ा होना पड़ा? क्या बिजनेस आप बंद करके गए थे?
हाँ मतलब दुकान पे दूसरे बंदे रहते हैं, हम जाते हैं, कल एक बंदा जाता है निकालने के लिए तो 1-2-2.5 घंटे या 3 घंटे कई बार लगना पड़ता है, लाइन में हो जाता है और निकाल के लेके आते हैं 2-2.5 घंटे में।
घर में परेशानियां होते ये अब 2500 ही निकाल सकते हैं तो 2500 में घर का खर्चा हो जाता है?
जी नहीं, 2500 नहीं, एक हफ्ते में 24, पहले 20,000 था, अब 24,000 हो गया है। 20,000 रुपए से एक बार निकल आता है तो खर्चा चलने लगता है, कोई दिक्कत वाली बात नहीं है, हो जाता है।
आप रोज 2500 आता है तो रोज ATM में जाकर खड़े होते हैं? कैसे एक बंदे जाते हैं वहाँ पे लाइन में खड़े होते हैं, फिर वापस आते हैं, फिर दूसरा आदमी जाता है?
हाँ ऐसा ही करना पड़ता है जब तो। वैसे अब एक दिन मैं तो विड्रॉ करने गया तो 20,000 रुपये मिल जाता, 2 दिन में 20,000 रुपये मिल जाता है तो घर का खर्चा इजीली महीने भर का हो जाता है, तो इसलिए कोई परेशानी नहीं हो रही, ठीक है सब।
This gentleman himself went to the bank, stood in line at the ATM and withdrew his money. So what they do here is they take turns. Each shopkeeper or each person they have employed, an employee will go stand in line for 3 hours, 4 hours. They stand in line there, they withdraw their money and they come back to the shop to take care of the business. Now sales have dropped. I'm standing right here in the middle of the market and unfortunately everything is closed. I haven't even seen one customer here. Now usually the market opens at 6. Housewives come here before they start their day to buy their vegetables, to buy their fruits. No one's come here, no one's bought anything yet, and this is how much sales have dropped here at the Sarojini Market Bazaar. Everything's still packed, everything not even untied. Everyone, the traders here still displaying their vegetables and fruits.
All right. Okay, Shalini, let me tell you, we also have a chai wala here, and we are asking him to make a tea, but we don't have any change to give him this morning. So we are also talking to him about his business, and what he's told us is "Aap chai banaiye." What he said is that I don't have change of 2,000 rupees. I can't help you. I am just going to serve you tea only if you have 5 rupee in your pocket. Unfortunately, I also have to stand in line when we take a break. But let me go across to Pramod, who's standing in Chennai. Now, Pramod, yesterday there was also the news conference by the Secretary of Economic Affairs, who said a task force will be formed to ensure that chaos at the ATMs is minimized. At least in Connaught Place where I am, I do not see any change because neither a security arrangement has been done nor a separate queue for senior citizens can be seen here. But what's the situation in Chennai?
Well, Devina, in Chennai, the situation has simmered down a bit. For instance, this is the 7th day since the Prime Minister announced the demonetization. And where we are right now is the RBI. Well, ATMs in Chennai, we can actually characterize Chennai into 3 zones now: North, Central and South. South being the IT corridor, Central being the offices for major manufacturing units where they use either plastic or internet for banking. But on the north is where you have all the wholesale units, the retailers and everybody, and this is where you see actual hard cash. And this huge crowd that you see here, this long crowd, are the people who are actually from North Chennai, who are here in front of RBI. They have been standing here since 7 a.m. in the morning, and the reason they are being here is because they need money not as 2,000 rupees or notes or 500 rupees notes, but as 100 rupees, 10 rupees, 20 rupees and 50 rupees, because these people who stand here are the ones who own textile shops and grocery shops and retail shops, and for them this kind of money is more required than 2,000 rupees, because the customers are the one who bring such kind of money. For instance, sir, எதுக்காக இங்க வந்து நிக்கிறீங்க? ஏன் நீங்க பேங்க் போல?
பேங்க் போனோம்னாக்கா அங்க 2000 ரூபாய் நோட்டு தான் கொடுக்குறாங்க, ஆனா சில்லறை கொடுக்க மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க. அதனால தான் நம்ம இங்க வந்து நிக்கிறோம் சார். இங்கன்னா சில்லறை எந்த சில்லறை வேணாலும் இங்க கொடுக்குறாங்க, ஆனா பேங்க் போனாலும் சில்லறை கொடுக்க மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க. அங்க போனானுக்கா ஒரு 12 மணி வரைக்கும் பணம் இல்ல, ஸ்டாக் இல்ல, நாளைக்கு வாங்க அப்படினு அனுப்பிச்சு விட்டுறாங்க.
வேற பேங்க் போனீங்களா?
வேற பேங்க் போனாலும் அதே தான் சொல்றாங்க சார். ஸ்டாக் இல்ல, பணம் இல்ல, அதனால தான் அங்க அனுப்பிச்சு விட்டுறாங்க.
Well, he says like this person actually is on the queue for the second day here, and what he said is like if he goes to the bank, he stands for nearly 12 o'clock, and then they say like they are out of stock and they're not so they cannot give the actual denomination he's asking for, not 2,000 rupees note but 110 rupees or 50 rupees. And in RBI, he hopes that he'll get the money, and this is the second time he's standing here because he stood here yesterday also for 3 hours, but he had to go to get back to his business and he was unable to do that. So this is the situation right now in Chennai, Divina.
Okay. All right, Pramod, I didn't have any luck getting a chai this morning, let me tell you. But let's also see how are people in rural India, in the interiors of India faring. Because everybody has come in support of the government's black money crackdown. It is a move that we will be telling our children also how 500,000 rupee notes were delegitimized in just a matter of 5 hours by the government. A step that has been kept like a secret operation across the power corridors, so much so that many at the North Block also weren't aware of this operation being taken. It's a massive task being carried out by our government. But how are our villages, how are the rural India and some of the villages which are adopted by our politicians as well? Is help reaching them?
As cash crunch continues, people across India have been left in the lurch. And those in some of India's most remote areas have been hit the hardest. While banks have always been inaccessible, these days collecting cash has become next to impossible.
1000 और 500 का नोट बंद हो जाने के कारण दुकान में भी जाने से नहीं ले रहे हैं, सामान खरीदने में दिक्कत हो रहा है।
बाजार में बहुत समस्या का सामना करना पड़ रहा है। इसमें साग, भाजी, नमक, तेल, दवाई वगैरह हमें कुछ नहीं खरीद पा रहे हैं।
In South Karnataka's Kundapur, the wait for cash is endless. In rural areas of Madhya Pradesh, Jhabua, where banks and ATMs are far off, the people are readying for a long haul.
हमारा यहाँ बैंक भी नहीं है और डाकदार नहीं है, कोई सुविधा बिल्कुल नहीं है। ढिंगला पैसा हम दिन भर धब्बा दें, पारा दें।
अभी 7 दिन से बंद है 500,000 के नोट, जिससे हमें धंधा पूरा चौपट हो गया।
While the people in urban areas suffer, those in India's remote-most corner have fallen back on the age-old practice of credit and barter to tide over the situation. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, so this is how our villages are faring. This is how where the money is to be dispersed by the government. The limits for the banking cooperatives has been increased yesterday. But is it enough? Because many of these villagers are living on daily wages. Now, interestingly, Manrega, which is a pet scheme of the government, you have the salaries dispersed in a check. But is check acceptable over the counter as well? There's also been a demand that now salaries this time for government employees and many in the private sector should be given at least 10,000 rupees in cash, which has come from a trade body as well. We talk more about that, but let me now go across to my colleague Ankit as well, who's been standing very patiently at the New Friends Colony. Ankit, in Delhi, you've been talking to many people, but we'll just go across to you. First up, let's also take a look at how the SBI chief, Arundhati Bhattacharya, when questioned on the challenges which surmounts the banking infrastructure, had to say to my colleague Virendra.
There will be some glitches, there will be some inconveniences, there will be some amount of pain, but I don't believe that it is something that is insurmountable or something that, that would be so difficult that people should either panic or feel worried about. Actually, queues are getting shorter. Again, I don't believe that the queues are not getting shorter, and our figures tell us this. From Saturday to Sunday, there was a reduction of 10%. From Sunday to today, and I'm talking only in the states that are open, I'm not taking all India numbers. In those states, there is a reduction of 25% today, up to 5 p.m. So I believe the queues are actually getting shorter. Deposits are not the latest. I won't give you today's figure. Till yesterday night, deposits were in the range of 81,000 crores. Overall transactions were around 99.6 crores, around 1 lakh crores for the State Bank of India. The fact is, we have always worked a lot in cash. This gives rise to corruption. This gives rise to unaccounted money. Today, we have a golden opportunity to convert to digital. Everybody who has an ATM card can actually use it on the POS machine. Those who don't have cards, we are sitting night and day in order to provide cards to them. They only have to tell us and we will get it there. This is a huge job. And obviously, the banks were not in the loop. And it was not possible to keep the banks in the loop. This was done in some amount of secrecy. If everybody had been kept in the loop, there would have been no secrecy. So therefore, banks were not in the loop. But the fact of the matter is, we believe that the banking system in India is strong enough to take on any
All right, I'm standing at Connaught Place. Let me take you through what's the scene out here. You have a car which is driving just when there's a queue outside a bank as well. As we're getting you this report, we also spoke to the CBDT chairperson who said that even as you have people depositing money in their bank accounts, many of them are carrying cash as well. I also want to point out that only 2.5 lakh rupee is the limit with which you can deposit cash in your bank accounts, where there will not be any scrutiny. Beyond that, you have the IT department which will be asking you questions. So you need to be aware. Also, there are multiple raids that are being conducted for those who want to exploit the window that's been given by the government for the next 50 days. Many are also flocking to their jewelers to exchange their notes for yellow metal. But even there also, the IT department has a hawk eye. So one comment, sir, just on the same thing what you've said on the IT survey, with the jewelers also being under the scanner of the IT department.
IT department is taking action on all the cases who are doing something which is not normal. Whether it's a deposit of cash or sale of the goods which is in the old currency notes, and we are keeping a watch and we are taking necessary actions against them.
So which are the spots where the IT surveys have been conducted? You've talked about also cash recovered from Kolkata.
Yes, they were moving the cash in the old currency notes and we have seized that.
And so what about the jewelers? Because a lot of questions have been raised on the loophole which could be exploited with the money being exchanged for the yellow metal.
So what are the loopholes which are you talking about?
So, for example, when people go and buy jewelry, now will there also be a check on the PAN card that's been used or not, and what kind of raids are being conducted in terms of jewelers who are indulging in backhanded approach after the demonetization right?
I've told you that PAN card is a must for any sale above rupees 2 lakh by the jewelers, and they take the PAN numbers. And we are keeping a watch that if they are breaking the sale into less than 2 lakh rupees, then necessary actions and penalties will be imposed on those persons.
So let me go across right now to my colleague Indrajit, who's joining us from Kolkata as well. Now Indrajit, it was the truck with 2.5 crore worth of cash which was seized. You had 2.5 crore in 500 and 1,000 rupee bundles that was seized as well. Now it's interesting to see that how people are running helter-skelter to park away their hoarded cash, with the IT department having a close eye on all the developments which are happening. Let me also tell our viewers that how it's important to know the politics behind it, because you have Mamata Banerjee on one hand who had gone to check the ATMs around the Kolkata city, but what happens to these tax evaders? Why is the opposition silent in giving support to this biggest black money crackdown that we have seen?
इनकी नीयत खराब है।
ये फैसला लेने से पहले इनको पूरी तैयारी करनी चाहिए थी
कि नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने इस पूरे देश को अपराधी करार दे दिया है।
It's a united opposition against Prime Minister Modi. Aam Aadmi Party, BSP and Congress standing shoulder to shoulder against Prime Minister's monetary shake-up. After hitting the streets of the nation to commiserate with the Aam Aadmi, opposition is now taking the fight one step further. West Bengal's Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee spearheaded the fight, dialing up opposition leaders, even the CPM. She even reached out to Nitish and Lalu asking them to unite against Modi Sarkar's move, seeking an immediate rollback of the decision.
दीदी भाई मोदी भाई का भी पूरा चाल चला बंगाल में। अब केरल सरकार अगर ये कहती है कि स्टेट यूटिलिटीज के लिए पुराने नोट्स का ये होगा, बंगाल सरकार क्यों नहीं बोलती वो बात? अब शारदा और नारदा के अंदर जो है वो सीबीआई के सामने अगर है ये केस, तो आगे क्यों नहीं बढ़ रही मामला?
With left adopting a cautious approach over TMC's suggestion to join hands to corner the government, all eyes remain on the meeting of the opposition parties today, where attempts will be made to reach on a consensus on strategies in winter session of Parliament. Meanwhile, a heated discussion is expected in an all-party meeting called by the government today, as the Congress leads the charge on demonetization decision.
बैंकों के बाहर लाइनों में खड़े लोग ना चोर हैं और ना उनके पास काला धन है। नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने इस पूरे देश को अपराधी करार दे दिया है।
वास्तव में सच्चाई ये है कि इनके इस फैसले से देश में गरीब नींद की गोलियां खाकर और अमीर जो लोग हैं चैन की नींद से सो रहे हैं।
एक चीज तो साफ है, इनकी नीयत खराब है। नीयत काला धन पे अटैक करने की नहीं थी, नीयत भ्रष्टाचार खत्म करने की नहीं थी, नीयत यूपी चुनाव के अंदर नीयत थी सारे देश का काला धन लेके अपने पास लाने की।
While the politicians rigged up the plight of the common man, those actually waiting in lines were asked to get some cash don't seem to mind temporary inconvenience at all.
This is a short-term pain for the public. Ultimately, it is going to help the Indian economy a lot. We are very much okay with it. It has to happen earlier in the Congress regime, but ultimately देर है दुरुस्त है।
मोदी जी ने ये जो देश हित में बड़ा स्टेप लिया है, सारी पब्लिक उनके साथ में है और ये आम जनता पूरी खुश है।
So who is really panicking right now? The people who seem to have given a big thumbs up to PM Modi's big black money counter, or the politicians who seem to be getting desperate in their attempt to attack the Prime Minister? Bureau Report, India Today.
Right, so we are standing here at Connaught Place and going across now to my colleague Indrajit. Indrajit, before we come to you, let me tell you, this is a situation I've seen many people trying to pass their time in the line for the ATMs. You have people standing and listening to music as well. But Indrajit, here is a serious question. You have Mamata Banerjee, who is trying to drum up support with the united opposition, already being rebuffed by the left at a time where there should be a unity that needs to be seen. Mamata Banerjee is also going against the national interest, is what many are saying, because you have tax evaders being caught right there in Kolkata with massive seizure of cash.
Well, that's right. You know, opinion on the streets of Kolkata is also clearly divided. Just as I was waiting, here, I could hear people talking about the decision of the government, and obviously some were supporting it, some were not. There is a heated discussion that's going on even as they wait for the bank to open its shutters. But definitely this is going to be a political issue, and that's the reason why West Bengal Chief Minister herself pounced on this issue when it emerged for the first time on 8th of November. Now she wants to be the leader leading this campaign against Modi and against demonetization. The difference between the other parties and the Trinamool stand is that the Trinamool wants a complete rollback of this decision, whereas the left has not called for a rollback but says that old current denomination currency notes must be in circulation. So that's the difference of stand as far as the Trinamool is concerned. Mamata Banerjee will be leaving for Delhi this afternoon. She would be meeting Kejriwal. There is also a possibility of Mamata Banerjee going and meeting Sonia Gandhi as well. And tomorrow we are given to understand that the Trinamool Congress Legislative Party, including all the parliamentarians, both from Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, will be giving a dharna in front of Mahatma Gandhi statue at the parliament, where Mamata Banerjee would be taking charge.
Okay. All right, Indrajit, thanks for joining us. We take a very short break, but a 360-degree coverage continues on India Today from Kolkata, Mumbai, and right here in Delhi, Chennai and Bengaluru. We are getting to your woes and making sure that they are heard by the government, and also questioning whether the opposition is fair in just criticizing and not giving out a solution. We are also getting news that there is a news conference organized by the Economic Secretary today at about 11:30. Could expect some more announcements. More on that after this break. Stay with us. This morning, well, let me tell you where I am. If you've just tuned in, I'm at Connaught Place. It's a special edition of First Up that we're getting you because banks have opened today after yesterday's public holidays, day 7 after the public announcement was done by the Prime Minister to delegitimize your 500 and 1,000 rupee notes. Now, enough cash is available, so no need to panic is the word coming from the government. We've also seen the new 2,000 and 500 notes which are coming from certain ATMs. Although in Connaught Place, I've checked Punjab National Bank. I've been able to check ATM at ICICI Bank early in the morning. 2,000 and 500 notes rupee are not available at these ATMs. But interestingly, as I was reporting here for the past 60 minutes, I've seen for the first time outside Punjab National Bank, you have a separate queue for the ladies and for the men. So the ladies, and this is not being directed by the government, mind you, but it's just how the common man is coming together to ensure that ladies are given a separate queue. There is no inconvenience, or inconvenience is minimized for them as well. Let me speak to a few of them. आप कब से खड़े हैं कतार में और आपको पता था यहाँ पे कि अलग महिलाओं के लिए कतार बनेगी? तो जब आप यहाँ पर आए खड़े होकर दिन भर का काम छोड़कर आए हैं, अभी तो बैंक के शटर डाउन है, कितना आप यहाँ से मनी जो है वो निकालना चाहते हैं? 4,500। तो 4,500 का दर कर दिया गया है अभी। आपको लगता है कि घर के बजट में कुछ गड़बड़ी हुई है, घर में पैसे नहीं है, इसलिए आपको आना पड़ रहा है? तो आपको किस तरह की दिक्कतें आई हैं जब आप यहाँ पे खड़ी हुई हैं कतार में? मैं भी देख रही थी आप इनके साथ 7 बजे से खड़ी हुई हैं सुबह। बैग से खड़ा नहीं हुआ जा रहा है, बैग में खड़े हो रहे हैं, पोता स्कूल लिया है, लड़की भी नहीं दिया उसको, तैयार होकर आ रहे हैं, पोती को लेके गए, पोती इधर उधर चला रहे हैं, वो भी रो रही है। परेशानी तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा है, लेकिन क्या कर सकते हैं। पर गृहिणी के घर पे ही ये भार होता है कि वो पूरे घर को संभाले, सुबह सुबह उठ के खाना बनाए, बच्चों को स्कूल भेजे, अपने हस्बैंड को दफ्तर भेजे, सब छोड़ छाड़ के आप सुबह से आई हैं। सब छोड़ छाड़ के आए, 4 बजे से लगे, रोटी लगी, पैसा नहीं है घर में, वही बिना नहीं आए, दूध आना रखना, कैसे होगा गरीब आदमी के, तो ऐसे परेशानी से आए हैं। 3 बच्चे छोड़ के आए, गरीब को बच्चे छोड़ के आए, दूध के लिए पैसे नहीं है। All right. So there you go. You've heard the woes of even the women who are standing in line. I'm letting them go because now the ATM doors have opened right as we speak. And this is around 10 a.m. that the ATM doors have opened. So hopefully they'll be able to get some cash out of the ATM. If they want to exchange notes, it's 4,500 rupee limit that's been imposed. 2,500 for the ATM withdrawal. But interesting to see that there is a separate line for women out here. Getting some more breaking news. My colleague Sahil is joining us from Mumbai. So Sahil, the political war is shaping and heating up here in the capital, but it's also the allies with which the government has to do balancing act. Because yesterday, Shiv Sena came out with a categorical criticism of the inconvenience that's being faced by the common man, many of whom are complaining that logistical nightmare remains the biggest concern.
Absolutely. In fact, Shiv Sena has been critical about this particular decision from day one, because on the first day when Uddhav Thackeray came up with a statement saying that government should really think what they are doing because the common man is going to suffer a lot, and he continued with the statement he had given to the press, because even the Samna editorials were talking about these lines what we are showing at this point of time. Their line is that the decision which has been taken by the government is creating a financial havoc in the country. It's creating a financial emergency in the country. People are scared, and the government should have been more prepared when they took this decision. So the thing is that no one is challenging the motive of the government. No one is challenging the intentions of the government. But what they are saying is that this decision should have been well thought of, well prepared, and they should have been more considerate towards people, because there are many things which the government got to know when suddenly people started queuing up for the ATMs, suddenly people started queuing up to take 2,000 rupees note. In fact, now I can even show you, because yesterday we spoke to Chanda Kochar, ICICI chairman, we spoke to Arundhati Bhattacharya, my colleague Virendra Singh Gunawat spoke to her, and they tried to tell people that okay, we are working, There's no doubt that the bank employees are working round the clock, but it looks like that it's too little, because the amount of people coming out on streets to take at least 2,000 rupees cash, it's too much. I mean, you can see that I can first show you that whether the 500 rupees notes are available or not. You can see that on the ICICI Bank's ATM or the branch here, it's clearly written that in change only 2,000 rupees note can be. We can speak to some people, because yesterday it was promised that there will be a separate senior citizen line. We'll have to ask.
I'm asked to stand there. I want to know why.
Here for some time now, ma'am?
No, I just came. I asked them why there is no line for senior citizens.
Okay. So did you get any answer for that?
No, nothing. They told me to go and stand there.
Okay. So see, these are hiccups, because it looks like that the bank wasn't ready. They did not know. Arun Jaitley stressed on the secrecy point of view, because he said that the secrecy was the utmost important, but they did not think that what kind of chaos it might cause on the ground, and that's what it is happening. Every day there is a new notification, because they are learning new things every day. They are understanding that yes, there is a problem and certain things needs to be done. Like the lady which we spoke a while back, she was saying that it was promised yesterday that there will be a separate line for senior citizens, but as we can see that there is no separate line for senior citizens. And exactly, and in fact that is what we are hearing from people. The important point, Devina, which you raised a while back, is that you have 2,000 rupees in your pocket, you go to the market, but no one is taking it, because no one has that kind of change with you, and they don't know what to do with that. In fact, I have with me my colleague Virendra Singh Gunawat here, who has been covering at this spot for quite a long time. Viren, you just flashed that what Shiv Sena said in the morning. In the Samna, we heard that Shiv Sena has targeted even what Narendra Modi's statement, the emotional rhetoric day before yesterday, in which he said that Garib Chain Ki Neend So Raha Hai. He said that he has given his life for the country, and you will see the change after some time. You think that Shiv Sena is ready to accept it at this point of time?
In fact, that it looks like they're targeting Modi, saying one thing, that for few croropatis, for few people, you shouldn't target the common man of the country. You have made people to stand on the street. We are seeing visually every day. Right. So that doesn't look, if you had any other option to curb the black money, you should have targeted some other strategy, but not this one. So definitely Shiv Sena got a big opportunity to hit back Modi, maybe from some BMC election or some other purpose.
Now here is an interesting fact, because Amit Shah, the BJP president, took a press conference. He hit at Congress, the BSP and the Samajwadi Party, saying that they are opposing this particular move because they are the hoarders. Now their own allies, Shiv Sena, who were part of the NDA meeting yesterday, they came out of the NDA meeting, and today they are writing editorial in Samna and criticizing the government. That is something really interesting. Also, Viren, I would like to ask you about, you spoke to the MCR Corporation, who makes the ATMs for most of the banks.
Right.
What are they saying? How much time it is going to take for the recalibration? Because that is what is the main problem happening at this point of time. Because the recalibration, only after the recalibration you can dispense notes of 500 rupees and a new 2,000 rupees note as well. So it is going to take time?
They're definitely going to time, because we have also spoken to Arundhati Bhattacharya yesterday exclusively, right, where she said that we were never in the loop in the entire secret plan, and that's the reason these kind of a crowd is seeing every day, because we didn't get even a time for the recalibration. Even if we had the information of rupees 100 or rupees 500, rupees 2,000, we would have done it in cooperation with NCR Corporation. NCR is saying that it will take some time, at least some days to technically get it done.
Right. So recalibration is going to take time, but before that, let's hear in what Shiv Sena's Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament and Samna's Executive Editor Sanjay Raut had to say about the editorial which has been written today in Samna. So you heard what Sanjay Raut had to say about this, and this is really funny, because yesterday the government had a meeting with the NDA partners. The NDA partners, Anant Kumar, claimed that NDA partners have supported the move, and this is what we are hearing today. Shiv Sena openly saying that what government is doing is hitting the common man. Now, yesterday even Manohar Parrikar was there in Mumbai, and he was giving a bizarre logic that because of this move, the violence in Kashmir has stopped completely. Now, Devina, really, you think this particular decision might have such kind of repercussions as well?
Well, that also links to terror financing, Sahil, because what the government claims is that this has dealt a severe blow also to the organizations which have used our money for funding terror activities. The finance minister has been categorical in saying as well it's a big blow to terror funding activities in India, and in that context the defense minister would have made that statement. But let me go across to my colleague Supriya, who's tracking the political developments here in the capital. Supriya, we're looking at an all-party meet that's being called again, and we're also looking, more importantly, a meeting that Congress has called at 2 p.m. today, where you have the opposition parties clobbering a united front. What are your sources indicating? Will the opposition ranks be divided, or will they fight united as the winter session begins on the demonetization drive?
Well, Divina, first and foremost, would like to mention that more political parties from the opposition camp have filed notices in both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. They are seeking adjournment and also a debate on the entire issue of demonetization. At 2 p.m. today in Parliament, the leader of the opposition, Ghulam Nabi Azad, has called this meeting. Yesterday we saw another meeting of the opposition leaders. Now we are hearing is that because yesterday BSP, SP and AIADMK and DMK representatives couldn't come, so today there will be a full-fledged meeting before the all-party meet which has been called by the Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anant Kumar. What we are hearing is that the opposition is almost united on the entire issue as far as the proceedings inside the House are concerned. A strategy has been drawn that there will be two different strategies, one for the Lok Sabha and one for the Rajya Sabha, and also that all the opposition parties will be raising this issue to the hilt in the Parliament. They will be not questioning the intention with which this entire move was initiated by the government, but certainly they will be raising the entire issue of the hardship that the people are facing across the country. Also, we are hearing that there is another strategy which has to be given a formal indication by the opposition party. They are saying that already they have decided that they will be going and meeting the president, but which party will be going and meeting when is to be decided. Whether it will be a collective march which we can see all the way from Parliament to the President's house, or it might be another aspect where some parties might go on 16th and some parties might go on 17th.
Okay. All right, so the opposition march, will that happen or not, is a big question as well. Supriya, thanks for joining us. We take a very short break, but let me tell you, in the past half hour that we've been talking to our reporters, we spoke to her in the beginning of the bulletin, but she's now only been able to move 6 places at the ATM queue. So bitter pill for better times, and it's the Aam Aadmi which is taking this bitter pill. We talk more about that after this break. Stay with us.